All right, this is documentation of what is the demonic environment that the entity engages in while it is monitoring your documentation while you expose the demon-possessed population. Not only is this for purposes of criminal monitoring, which the people of the state are engaging in, that's why the environment is here. You're remembering also it has nothing to do with the placement of the light source. I'm in my bedroom. Out of this window, the entity is placing the light source over building 1818, aiming onto this bedroom wall, impossible light that's magnified in size. As I document and upload the evidence while the entity is, again, this is a demon possessed entity, a public entity that is acting directly and vicariously, and all of whom are very, very, this is a seething and outraged, very hostile and aggressive, psychotic. Okay, that's by definition. Look up what a psychopath is. And they are engaging what is threatening you in the environment. This is absolutely impossible light activity. The light sources in the living room, outside of the living room window, has nothing to do with this. The entity engages in this threat in the same way that you see the demons that are LAPD. They engage in the same threatening behavior and they create the threatening environment while you expose and document it. Okay, so this is speaking to the demon possessed people of the state. They're monitoring. Okay, this is speaking to the demon-possessed agency, the LAPD. That's the state acting directly. This is absolutely impossible light. This is the demonic, just like you saw yesterday afternoon. You saw the impossible light. You saw the flashing light that appeared. The demon-possessed surround me. The demon-possessed are engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. And this is an ongoing admission. This is an ongoing admission as to the condition of the entity that's engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. This is an admission of the placement of a demonic environment having nothing to do with any sun or sunlight, where the entity is keeping the light source in Upland, California, while I'm in getting off of Route 66 and capturing the light source, hovering over me at Euclid Avenue and Foothill Boulevard, which you will see. The entity is keeping the light source, rising it and setting it, which I'm reminding you of documentation of. And as I document and upload this information, this light activity arrives on the ceiling, having nothing. This is speaking to, again, how a demon-possessed entity that's monitoring, representing the government, the people of the state are the government. Okay, they're group stalking on behalf of the state, and how that entity, this is speaking to damages. The ordinary target individual is terrorized by this, seeing multiple shadows, seeing their shadow above them, seeing the magnification of their shadows, having the light activity that appears while they document and just to enforce their rights, and the demon possessed torment and target them in this manner. This is serving for their damages, which our Todd Speaker is going to be liable for. Not only his business, but his real property is the facilitating venue where the documentation is going to be used against him and the people of the state and the state of California, while the entity is acting directly and vicariously. And this is the pattern of conduct. The entity engages in this tormenting conduct by a demon-possessed population as you expose it. This is POC. It's currently 9:19 a.m. And just to remind you, you already know, the entity is keeping the light source out there. That's supposed to be the form, the sun, and then the sunlight's on the floor. It has nothing with sunlight. The sun, remember, is over me in Upland, California. None of this is happening if that was the natural environment. You know that it's not. This is the POC. And it's not just any criminal system. The demon-possessed are engaged in the POC. Okay? The demon-possessed are the government. This is a line of light that's appearing on the wall right here. Concentrated light, and that's because the door is closed. It's all impossible light. So you see it grows as I close the door. It's a little thin line that's appearing on the wall, impossible light. Just want you to see all of the methods. And you have what is, again, this light as you close the blind. Yeah, that's demonic. All right, the entity is engaged in a pattern of conduct. There's light on the blind. The blinds are appearing over here. The light source is outside of the living room window, okay? This is POC. This is terrorism of a targeted individual that's subject to state surveillance. And then understand, while they engage in the satanic ritualistic targeting system and you expose it, the demon possessed are engaging in what is a show of aggression, surrounding you and engaging in more of threatening conduct by surrounding you with that terrorizing and tormenting environment. This is serving for the people of the state are going to be placed in mental facilities. The state itself, these demon-possessed agencies, these demon-possessed actors affiliated with these corrupt law enforcement agencies, these are the demon-possessed. They're going to be placed in mental facilities. All right. In addition to what is threatening your life by virtue of bearing weapons, having such positions, and stalking you on an obsessive manner, which is just a matter of documentation now. It's not a matter of one's word against the other. The target individual necessarily relies on documentation because you're dealing with a corrupt government that is in every way relying on its I want to be clear, baseless, because it's not fair that the targeted individual would have to, but nonetheless, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. But the government is, by virtue of its identity, by virtue of those that are in that position, they are relying on that to be the method whereby nothing that a target individual ever claims is going to be believed, or establishing any criminal conduct. In fact, the pattern of conduct is to criminally defame the target individual. Those that are in such positions, they're psychopaths. They're ticking time bombs. They are the demon possessed who are in positions that they are yet to be removed from, and they are indeed engaged in what is satanic. They're targeting American citizens in this country, and they engage in threatening your life and tormenting you. This is a threat to your physical safety, your well-being, and your life, while they target you in such manners and while I am exposing them. And this is the pattern of conduct. While the people of the state live in relevant position, they live next door, they live underneath on the second and first floor, they're driving by on Alvarado, they live all around a relevant position on the hillside. All right, everything that you see on the distance covered by engineered light, this is engineered light inside of my apartment. What they're doing inside of my apartment, having nothing to do with the placement of the light source, is what you see outside. Having nothing to do with the placement of the light source. Okay, because documentation shows that the sun is over in Upland, California. The entity is engaging in what is the placement of an environment which is entirely demonic. It's an entire illusion. All right, this is documentation that is serving to prosecute a people who are engaged in targeting American citizens in the shoes of the government. And that's a very high federal crime. And this is understanding the precedent that's being established and serving for grounds of federal prison by the people of the state who are in no way protected. They're not shielded. It's impossible to shield a criminal engaging in the system, contrary to the false premises upon which federal group stalking and monitoring has been engaged in by a government, thinking that they can threaten you into not documenting, threaten you and defame you and imprison you, while they still engage in their demonic or ritualistic pattern of conduct, even in their jails, which I documented. It's not just about the fact that they want to monitor you while I'm free, all right? And this is not freedom. I want to be clear. Documenting the pattern of conduct while you're not in jail is not freedom, and the entity is going to pay you for that. Again, that's something that's immeasurable. You can't put a dollar sign on it. Oh, but justice requires we're going to approach the subject. We're going to try, okay? This is speaking about draining the pockets. The people of the state, you're talking about, I have lists of companies. I mean, you can go down the street. Every single last business is group stalking. You can drain the pockets. You're going to drain the pockets. This is what a whole government is doing against you. The people of the state are the government. Ceaseless group stalking and monitoring. Everywhere that's covered with engineered light, everywhere you're being monitored. And that's shown through the documentation that I have captured for years. There is no coincidence. There's no anomaly. It's the P.O.C. And you will be compensated for the threat to your life and the ongoing threat to your overall well-being. This is designed to cause the targeted individual, the ordinary targeted individual, to question their own sanity, and that's intentional, okay? This is capturing wicked. This is capturing evil that exists in this country. This practicing of evil by a people, by a government, is criminal, okay? It is currently 9:24 a.m. This is P.O.C.